Welcome to Murphy, Sam, and Jodi after the show.
You know, last night I was hanging out in the bedroom. I think, was I doing yoga? No, I was doing Facebook. I'm sorry. I was on the floor, but I was doing Facebook on my computer.
Was I doing something healthy
What was
or
I doing?
Facebook?
I can't remember. I just know I was on the floor in our bedroom on the carpet. And then you walked in, Murphy, on the phone, and I could hear who you were talking to was my Paw Paw. I'm thinking, Paw Paw called him and not me. What's going on? I look at my phone. He didn't call me.
Well, it's weird you say that because my assumption was he tried to get you first.
Sure.
And when he didn't get you, he called me.
He wanted to handle something man to man, I think. Right?
I mean, I guess so.
It was so sweet. Okay, so Papa's 91 now.
Yeah.
And we recently bought his car from him. Okay?
Does he know this?
Yeah. It was his idea.
Where's my car?
He's about a year or two ago, he stopped driving.
Right.
Because of his eyesight. Mm-hmm. And he finally admitted that, maybe it's not the best idea because I have trouble seeing.
So family members drive him now?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And he had this really good car. And my grandparents were always that way. Like, I remember when we were first married, Murph, you were like, my grandmother called me once. I had like a Honda Accord. Remember this? And she said, I just wanted to know if you ever want to get rid of that car. I want you to know I want to buy it. Like, they only bought cars from people they knew. Oh. So when it's time to sell a car, they check out with they check the family first, It's kind of a, I know where this car's been. I can trust where this car's been sort of thing.
Right.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
So when the word got around the family that he was trying to get rid of the car, he called me one day and he said, look, I know Phoebe, your youngest, is about to start driving. Would she like this car? Would you guys want to buy this car? Because I'm going to sell it. And, the whole long story is that Phoebe ended up not wanting a car, but our old boxy 4Runner, which we've handed down to her that she's learning to drive in. But I love the car. Mm-hmm. So we bought the car from Paw Paw. And I'll never forget being on the phone with him in Walmart. I was trying to grocery shop with a mask on my face, and he called me. Here, baby, here's what I want to do. I want you to come out. I want you to come drive it. And then he says, this is what I'm going to charge you for it. And he said a number.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, that's less than what it's worth. He goes, no, that's the family discount. And then before the end
so you didn't have to haggle and negotiate.
No,
we didn't. Now, I do still wonder, is a 27% interest rate a good thing?
Sugar, you don't have to go through the bank on this one.
The beginning of the phone call, he told me one number. Yeah. I'm like in produce. I'll never forget it. The next thing, I'm on the chip aisle, and he tells me a different number, $1,000 lower.
Oh,
I'm like, Paw, you
keep talking.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
But I just know him. I've known him my whole life, obviously, and he just, because it's family, because he's all heart. He's all heart. He wanted to give us it for a certain price. Yeah. Okay, so a week passes. Whatever, we drive it, we go to his house, and when it's time to buy it and start doing money. We gave him the original amount that he quoted, the original amount. And do you know that the reason he called Murphy last night is because it's been bothering him that we gave him more than what he originally
what we did,
said.
No, it was confusing. We went to the middle.
And
remember?
That's right.
We went to the middle because I'm like, Jodi, I mean, it's...
You're right.
I feel bad, but when somebody gets to be that age and they really want to do something for you...
Yeah.
And
it
has taken me such a long, long time in my life to realize this. You need to let them do what they want, especially if they're sound mind. And look, Paw Paw, for 91 years old, is sharper than. So my grandmother.
Careful.
No. I'm just going to say my grandmother, by the time she was 91 and 92, was beginning to struggle with memory and especially kind of being in the present, thing. And Paw Paw knows what's going on. I mean, he's into pop culture now. He knows what's happening. He can still tell you stories
about
from the
COVID.
past.
Yeah.
He's everything. And so when somebody's in sound mind like that and they're older and they've got the life experience, you should let them do that.
Right.
It's one thing to ask once or twice, and we did ask twice, but you don't want to go the third time because what they're genuinely trying to do is something that they want to give of themselves.
Yes.
By the time you're in that place in your life, it's the meaning, not the cost.
Yes. And so you're right. He told me one amount, and then by the end of the first phone call, he told me a separate amount, which was like $1,000 less. So we went in the middle. Mm-hmm. And once he realized we went in the middle, he just can't. he's like, I want, and that's why he called you last night. I told Jodi that I was going to give her that car for this amount, blank amount. So he wants us to come out. He's going to continue to try to slip us the rest of the money.
What's
It's
amazing
so
is that he
beautiful
remembers
and
all that
sweet.
in
I
the
know.
conversation.
It's bothering him, which is bothering me. So I'm going to go see him this week.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to visit him anyway. He needs visitors, you know. And
Tell him to donate it to the church.
or
Or do you want the money back?
no, I don't
mean,
want the money
Yeah,
back.
that's the whole thing. I think at this point, if we start
wanna
pushing
take
him,
money from
he's not
him.
going to understand why we won't take it.
Yeah.
I mean, because his reasons are your girls are in college, and yes,
Well,
that's
one of
correct.
them is.
Taylor's in college. That's expensive. You know, insurance. Now you've got, if you have 2 girls driving, that means 2 more sets of insurance. That's expensive. So, and he's right. so that's what he wants to help out with. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm trying to put myself in his shoes. That if I wanted to do something, I'm a determined type of person when I want to do something. So he's a very determined type person. So he's going to do this. He's going to give us that mid amount back.
Yeah.
One way or the other.
Yeah, I remember when my grandmother was still alive. She's been gone now for almost 10 years, and she lived to be 97. But for most of her life, whenever we would all go out to dinner, she insisted on being the one picking up the dinner tab. Now, it wasn't 30 of us eating at dinner, right? But it was still 10 or 12 of us, and that's what she wanted to do.
Right.
And my grandmother was a very modest means. She had saved her money, and that's what she wanted to do. So if you tried to argue with her, and I saw my mom try to argue with her on that, it's like, no, honey, this is mine. This, sit down, and it just you deny them of something special, and I guess what I can figure there,
sense of self.
It is a sense of self because he's older, he can't drive. There are a lot of things he can't do, so he wants to do the things that he can do.
Yes.
So I respect that.
I'm glad you put it that way because that makes more sense to me.
Sure.
Because my parents have always been that way too.
Insistent.
They always wanted to pay for the when the gang got together, they're paying
That's
for
cool.
food, and it's like it reached a point where it's like I don't need that anymore. I can pay for it,
Sure.
and it's like that look on their face, or they'd continue to try to slip you the cash on the side,
Sure.
Right.
and it winds up in this little no, I don't want it, but you're right.
It's probably a very common family misunderstanding.
Sure.
Yeah.
Of someone wanting to do it. That's how they see themselves. That's how Heidi saw herself as the lead there,
Yeah.
and so she needed to do that to be the lead, to feel the lead. So I feel like we made a mistake in doing that and writing that check the way we did. So we need to make it good somehow. So and let him do what he wants to do for us, which is help with that insurance, is what he told you last night.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess if we reject this time, he's going to start calling Phoebe or Taylor.
I want my car back.